Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the man, myth, the legend, Mr. Brian Leba. How you doing, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well, man. So video number one was all data all the time. We've learned that the Vegas market is not behaving very well. 42% crash in transactions, another $16,000 drop in median home price. We saw 500, almost 500% increase in cancellations over last year's average. Not good, not good, not good. Now we're going to look in the crystal ball because we just had the worst August on record. We are heading into the winter, which historically is not great, with January being historically the worst month ever. September probably doesn't feel very good right now. So let's talk about what's going on in Vegas. And again, this is our crystal ball, our experience. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is what we think. So when you look into the future, like the rest of this year, September, October, November, December, I don't know how you feel good given what we just talked about.
Don't confuse this smile with happiness.
Not
Okay.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, we are all, like we just discussed in the first video, we're all entitled to our opinion. You can think whatever you want to think. It's America. It's a free world.
Yeah.
Say, do whatever you believe.
Yep.
But it's very, very difficult to look at these factual data sets that we have in front of us. It's impossible to ignore what happened and what is happening. And it's very difficult to have an optimistic opinion of the foreseeable future just because, look, when your August numbers are worse than the majority of the decade of January numbers, it's not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
I mean,
not good, folks. Not good.
You don't have to be a whiz in real estate to understand that spring and summer are the best, most aggressive months of the year. Yeah. So when your summer looks like the worst winter of all time, what do you think winter is going to look like? Yeah. So, there's a few typical things that happen in a normalized market, at least in Las Vegas, right? In other parts of the country, you get snowed in. I can't discuss that. I don't know.
This is Vegas,
man. So even in Las Vegas, where we don't have snow and acclimate weather, even in Las Vegas, December and January numbers are about 50% of the numbers that we see in late spring and summer. Okay. So that gives you, a historical background. It's pretty rough.
Do you have the data in front of you, right? Can I ask a question? Like, if you were to go back to, let's go 2018.
Okay.
Give me active listings for August and then give me December. Because I have a sneaky suspicion. I think in video number one, you talked about inventory getting over 8,000.
Yeah.
I have a sneaky suspicion you might be like 6,500 to 6,800, especially if rates keep going up. I think inventory might surprise to the downside, but I don't know the context of history.
Well, so if we look at the end of August in 2018, we were sitting at 5,590 homes.
5,590. So fast forward just to the end of December, what we were at, same year.
2018, end of December, we were at 6,800.
Oh, you went up.
Yeah. But this is one of those, that was an isolated year where.
What's historically then? That's what I'm trying to figure
out. Well, again, sometimes it's very difficult to predict. I mean, if you look at 2019 in August, we had 7,700, but then it dropped to 5,800. 2017 in August, we had 5,000 and it plummeted to 4,000.
So that's kind of what you would think is average. December lower than August, all else being equal.
Yeah. And I mean, this year is a very, 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 very different year. So, I really wouldn't even say either way whether we're going to go up or we're going to.
Well, that's no fun. That's no fun.
No, I'll be honest. That's the one thing I'm going to be honest all the way around. If I don't know, I'm not going to pretend to know something or pretend to believe in something.
Well, I'm going to take a wild ass guess because I have no data about Vegas, so nobody should ever believe anything I say about Vegas. I just have a sneaky suspicion when I look nationally, and I see no reason for Vegas not to follow this. What do I think is going on between September 6th and December 31st? I believe with pretty good confidence that rates will be higher in December than they are today.
Yeah.
I believe that July 20th was an important date and we got a lot of listings, many of it with wish pricing. I think we are only starting to see cancellations. I think what is coming at the 90-day mark is expireds. We have not seen the 90-day mark yet for expireds. Right. So I think that is coming. I think as rates go up, more and more people will do the math going, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. So again, I think the nation has less inventory at the end of the year than today. And I don't know why Vegas would not trend the same way. And I think it might be significant because again, Vegas moves first.
It also depends on, your institutional investors aren't going to sell. They're not going to do
They don't
anything.
have
The
to.
cap rates are great. But I have had clients that were planning on cashing out for various reasons at some point in time. You do have some skittish investors that had an exit strategy and they're afraid that they might lose 30%. So they want out.
Sure.
But you also have to get those tenants out of the property. So it'll be interesting to see from that perspective. And again, we do have people that want to sell. We do have people that are withdrawing listings. That was a massive contributor. So I really would hesitate to say that the inventory is going to go up or down. I don't think we're going to see too much of a difference is what I would guess. I think we're going to be hovering.
You've seen the rush already. That's clearly rolling over.
Yeah. Again, the people that wanted to capitalize on the top, it didn't work. They're out.
It did work.
They're out. The people who had a number in their head, they're out. A lot of the people who were in escrow for a new home, not only is their payment blown up on the new home, but now they're going to come up short 100, 200 grand on the sale of their home. Just call it a wash and they're out. So there's a lot of moving parts that we'll see how they shake out.
The other thing that's again, why I watch Vegas. I think you said this in the first video, and this is what we have to have again. There's want to sell, and then there's need to sell. Yeah. And this is the wrinkle about Vegas that makes it so special, right? Vegas, like it or not, is mainly a service town, right? Mm-hmm. And if we truly get into a nasty recession and job losses go up, this last summer may be in a great party time, but winter is going to be pretty slow. And could we have job losses in casinos and other industries? Will unemployment in Vegas, I have no idea what it is today, but will it go up 2 points? And will that cause for sellers? I don't know.
Yeah, it can. I think inherently it's a study of human behavior is where I'm at, where we are now about 3 months in, right? And it's pretty natural human behavior to deflect losing and denial. There's stages of grief, right?
Yeah,
like this is a stage of grief. And the first is denial. So the problem is a lot of these properties on the market have been on the market a month, 2 months, and people are realizing they're not going to get what they wanted. But again, when you have sellers that need to sell, it's a question of how long does it take for them to break and get desperate. And the reality people are going to hold on to hope as long as they can. But the reality is this, and this is what I said in the video. Once you get deep into October, any realtor who's worth half a damn is going to have a conversation with their client that, hey, if we don't get this in escrow immediately, then it's probably going to be a long 4 months until any hope of the market pulling back up. Wow. So even though things are bad right now, I kind of coined the phrase, there's an acceleration of deceleration that's going to occur.
I like that.
So acceleration of deceleration. And what I mean by that is this race to the bottom. I've lived through this twice before. So literally just in this week, I've already had 2 neighborhoods where the whole bottom just fell out because there's a couple sellers that need to sell. And that desire to sell at that level, the smart ones just go, hey, where do I need to cut it to get out? And I've told everyone, whatever you think is a bad price right now will be a good price tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So in one neighborhood, it was clearly overpriced to begin with. So some of these neighborhoods in Las Vegas clearly didn't make sense even when everything was selling. And those are the ones that are going to get absolutely abused, while others will just have a correction. But this neighborhood, this one particular model was selling all day long for $760,000 and chop. At this point right now, we were the lowest in the neighborhood at 650. And then last night, someone just said, F it, and went to 610.
Wow.
So right there in that one neighborhood, again, this is a micro.
Yeah. Know your buy box, folks. Get your buy box.
And exactly. And so now all of a sudden, we've gone from 760 to 610. So that's 20%. And that took 3 months to hit 20%. Now, I'm not saying that this neighborhood is going to dramatically go farther than that. Maybe this is that point where prices make sense. But as the rest of the market goes down, this neighborhood will as well, along with the
Yeah.
rest of the market. But again, some of these overinflated neighborhoods that fundamentally didn't make sense, I've called. I mean, there I can literally tell you certain areas where it's going to
Yeah.
go up in flames. But again, the market is down already about 7.5% across the board from median price. But look, I can name multiple neighborhoods that are down 20%.
That's why you got to know your buy box, know your area, work with a
Yeah.
professional. The
Yeah.
other thing that I look out into the future, and I just don't know about, and you brought this to me 4 or 5 months ago with your saturation stats, is I think the most, and I think you actually said this, if you didn't, correct me, but you were thinking that the most pain is going to be kind of that 750 to 1.25 area, just because of where
Yeah.
all the new builds kind of focused.
Yeah.
And yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, I mean that's a perfect example, right? That house, 1860 square feet, gated neighborhood, KB home, and they were commanding 760,000. To me, that seemed crazy. It should have never been that high. And now we're getting to a level that, yeah,
Eh,
makes a little bit more sense from where it should be. You know what I mean?
okay.
760 was high. At the time, I could understand maybe 625, 650. That's where it really made sense to me. And now we're below that because the market overall is going downhill. But yeah, I mean, there's just no getting around some of these pricing issues that we had.
What's the largest? And again, if you don't know, it's cool. But I mean, what's the largest price drop you've seen in a million, million plus listing? Have you seen a $500,000 price cut yet?
I haven't seen a $500,000 price cut. I've seen a few sell for 350, 400,000 below.
Okay.
But it's still early.
Yeah, no,
a
it's
lot of these
early.
are going.
Really.
There
Yeah,
is
it's early.
there's one client that I'm working with who off of your show, and he's looking to purchase a massive Airbnb mansion, and there's one property that's an amazing custom home, and literally the developers they just quit. They literally just quit. So they're willing to sell it for $1.5 million, probably another million that needs to go into it, and it's just not even worth their time and money to complete the project. They're just hoping to cash out, and I'm sure you can just make them an offer and they'll take it. So you're seeing a lot of people just abandoning projects because they know that they're never going to be able to recapture. It's a sunk cost. And again, that price range of 750 to 1.5, that's a great majority of the homes that are being built, especially in the blue chip areas. So that competition is fierce. And, for people out there, you got to remember, when you buy a brand new home, it's kind of felonious pricing. The builder can virtually make any price they want. And if the public is willing to pay, that's inherently what the value is. But the second that home is 1 day old, it goes on to the resale market. And then buyers will be able to compare values. Now, when the market is hyperinflating, you don't have time to really, really break it all down and try to understand the inherent value. And if you do take that time, someone else is just going to swoop it underneath.
Yeah.
This is a completely different world now. Now we're in a world where it's a buyer's market and buyers have time. So now buyers are looking around going, why is this Toll Brothers home $2.5 million in a gated community where I could be in the country club in a guard gated community in a remodeled home and it's coming in $700,000 less? Inherently, that never made sense. It's making sense now. It's making a lot of sense now. And that's why some of these properties are not selling. I was telling people this for the last 4 years, but no one cares until it's time to exit the strategy. So we're still very early in this.
Yeah.
And, like I said, we still have the majority of sellers are still absolutely delusional in
Wish
their
pricing.
Every neighborhood you pick, you will see neighborhoods, 8 homes for sale, 1 under contract, none under contract. If you see that whole neighborhood's going up in flames. But in other neighborhoods, you'll see, we talked about pricing was 600,000 4 months ago. Now the asking price is 500,000, but they're selling them. They're actually getting some movement because they hit that price point where it makes sense to purchase. So we still have a couple more months to go where we start getting a little realistic on pricing. But I'm telling you guys, when we get to October, November, December, it's going to be a bloody holiday season because sales are naturally down anyways, and with interest rates at 7%, I mean, really, if you don't have to buy,
well, same if you don't have to sell. Say, let's be clear, right? If you don't have to sell, you don't list in that market.
No. No, makes no sense. I mean, unless, like you said, unless you have to sell. And some of these sellers are getting very,
Yeah.
very desperate. So for most of my investors, we're waiting until the holidays, especially if you're looking to purchase family-sized homes. So a lot of my investors, I've got them in 4 or 5 bedroom homes that you rent to families.
Hmm.
Very good long-term tenants, better quality tenants, more
Hmm.
stable. Those types of properties typically have a difficult time selling during the holidays inherently because families are busy doing family things for the holidays. This
Exactly.
year is going to be horrible for the people that you got to remember. A lot of people have moved. There's a lot
Yeah.
of vacant properties, and if you've been paying a mortgage, you may not want to
Yeah.
see that net number. But if you have to sell,
Got to sell.
you're going to
Yeah.
break at some point. And if you don't
Yeah.
sell by mid-October, you're
Done.
either going to take it on the chin or you better wait until March of next year, and God knows where we're going to be in March.
Yeah. So this is why you got to work with a professional. A lot of you that watch my channel have interest in Vegas. I see the comments. If you're not working with Brian Lebo, you're missing out. How do you want them to
Thank
reach
you.
out?
Well, guys, as we alluded to in the first video, I do a lot of video content. So every month I put out my video updates. This was just a light version of what we discuss, but I break down all the metrics. I explain to you where the market is actually going and what the trends are. So I would encourage you all to at least get acclimated with the market and watch the videos. So if you go to YouTube, it's just the Lebo Group, and subscribe, and you'll get all the updates to it. If you want to reach me directly, you can literally just shoot me a text, give me a call. It's 702-257-LEBO, 257-LEBO, LEBO.
And again, if you are a real estate investor in any market across the country, and if you want the world, Vegas is a market to watch because it is the canary in the coal mine. It will crash first, bottom first, return first. It's why I've watched it for 10 years. Brian, and you're the man to do it. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on, Michael. I appreciate it. And thanks to all you guys watching out there. I appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.